Well, on this Memorial Day, we're bringing you a story of two Air Force veterans who traveled to Utah to remember their comrades who died in a B-52 crash 40 years ago.
That B-52 flew from Robins Air Force Base. 41 NBC's Brick Nelson spoke with two men about why it's important to remember and honor the fallen this Memorial Day.
In 1983, a Boeing B-52, similar to the one that can be seen here at the Museum of Aviation in Warner Robins, crash-landed in the mountains of southern Utah. Now, 40 years later, two Air Force veterans made the trip to the site of the crash to pay their respects and remember those who were lost in the accident.
Those guys are gone, but they're not forgotten.
Air Force veteran Robin Money remembers learning about the crash. It was on April 11, 1983, when two B-52s, call signs Lure 75 and Lure 76, left Robins Air Force Base to conduct a training exercise near Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada. During the flight to Nellis, inclement weather conditions clouded the mountain ridges and peaks while flying over Square Top Mountain in southern Utah. This led to Lure 75 crashing on the south part of the mountain, which ultimately destroyed the aircraft, killing all 7 crewmen inside.
It was very hard because it's, in a sense, it's sort of part of your extended family that you lose in a tragic way.
Money and his co-pilot Crosby Ruff were devastated by the loss of their comrades, who they worked closely with while on duty at Robins.
We got to know the crew members very well, and this particular bomber crew was on our alert cycle, meaning every 3rd week. We saw the same people.
We were all close to each other. We worked together and we stayed together a lot. And so that was a very tragic time for us.
With last month marking the 40th anniversary of the crash, and after doing research on the crash site, Money and Ruff decided they wanted to honor those lost, but in a big way.
So I saw all of that, and I saw pictures of the mountain, the crash site, and remembering our friends. I thought, man, it's just so unbelievable that even happened.
He told me, he said, "Hey, what do you think about us going on the 40th anniversary?" And I talked with my wife, and she said, "I think it'd be a great idea." And so we said, "Yeah, let's go for it."
The two friends then flew to Utah and climbed to the site of the crash. Money says it was difficult, but it was worth it.
Fortunately, as we climbed up, we climbed directly over the impact point of the crash, and we began to see hundreds and hundreds of pieces of the aircraft scattered all across the mountain there. We both shed tears there. We shed tears on top of the mountain when we got to the monument, and even as we got back down the mountain after a 10-hour climb up and down.
After seeing the crash site and the monument dedicated to those who died in the crash, Money says the trip helped give them closure.
We wanted to remember those guys and also to let others know that, look, those guys gave their lives. They sacrificed their lives for for our country.
Ruff says during this Memorial Day, we remember not only those who were lost in the B-52 crash, but remember all who have paid the ultimate price for the protection of our nation.
Memorial Day is really for us to remember each and every one of them, even though we never met them, and they're nameless and faceless, but they were young men who gave it all for the freedom of mankind.
In Warner Robins, Brick Nelson, 41 NBC News.
And we want to remember all 7 who were lost in that B-52 crash. They are Captain Donald W. Hybert, First Lieutenant Thomas C. Lenup Jr., Captain Jonathan M. Bishop.
Also, First Lieutenant Matthew W. Servinak, First Lieutenant Bernard S. Russell, Staff Sergeant Major Carter, and Colonel Carol D. Gunther.